everybody. This is Barry, and you're watching Barry and the PI. It's nice and sunny out here today. Got a good breeze, so haven't had to turn on the air conditioner in about 2 or 3 days. Uh, so people ask, why did I move to the Philippines? Well, we moved to the Philippines, my wife and I. She just went in the house. Um, it's we well, I had studied Philippine politics for ever since the Marcos years, and I found it interesting. My faculty advisor at the university had served as in the Peace Corps over here in the Philippines, and I knew a lot about Philippine history. It used to be an American territory, and then before that, Spanish. Uh, so I knew something about the place. I hadn't been over here until I came over in 1997 and traveled around Asia and the Philippines. Uh, I met my wife in Hong Kong. I flew from U.S. to Hong Kong first, and but then I continued on traveling around to different Asian countries, including the Philippines. Uh, I spent more time in the Philippines than in other countries. Um, and I didn't just stay in one place. I went to Manila, spent a couple of days, went to Angeles City, spent a couple of days, went to Davao, spent a few days there. So I traveled around the Philippines, and I found it be just as I had suspected, a very unusual place. Of course, always at the top of the list, it's got a lot of beautiful island girls here. Uh, so I, I traveled around, and we eventually, Maida, when she got through with her contract in Hong Kong, she moved back here. And excuse me. And uh, I ended up, when I was traveling around, looking for a teaching job here because I was a teacher back in the U.S. And I got offered by LG Corporation to teach their executives uh, English, and also I got offered to teach kids in Taiwan. Well, Korea gets very cold in the winter, and I'm not a cold person. And so I ended up taking one in Taiwan, and I got a job teaching in Taiwan kids. So after I'd gone back to the U.S., started my teaching career there, and then I decided to, at the end of the school year, I decided to move to Taiwan, and I loved it there. I spent 5 years there, and but I had worked out a deal with my school in there. Every 2 months, I'd get a 4-day weekend, so I'd fly to the Philippines, see my wife, spend the weekend there with her, and then fly back to Taiwan. So all that went through, and I eventually went back started teaching again and filed for her visa papers to come to the U.S. And so she did. She had all the stuff taken care of, uh, the medical and all that stuff that they have to do. And she came to Arizona. I was teaching on the Navajo Indian Reservation. And she flew into Phoenix, and I went down. It was Christmas Eve she arrived in there. So I had that Christmas vacation for 2 weeks. So I flew. I went down and picked her up in Phoenix and brought her back to the res. And well, anyway, we went through, and I retired eventually from teaching, and I got a 1-year contract with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to be a park ranger at Chincoteague National Wildlife Refuge. So we moved to Arizona to Virginia, and I finished my year contract, and then we went back to Austin, Texas, my hometown. And I, my younger brother, who was very successful in business, and he owned a lot of property, and one was a lake house on Lake Travis, and I was his property manager. I just go in a couple of days, look around, make sure everything's done, clean. And then Maida, he hired Maida to clean the house. So we'd go up there a couple of times a week. And then Maida had also started working. And first job she had was at Walmart in the deli. And then she went to school and got her nursing assistant certification. And she went to work for a retired assisted living center. And she worked there for about a year, and then we moved to another area. Actually, that's when we decided to buy a house, because the rent for apartments were like $700 a month, and I can buy a house for that. And so we bought our house, and it wasn't it was I don't know, 20-year-old house, built in 70 something, and we fixed the house up, and Maida continued working with one of the biggest assisted living centers in Austin. It was owned by the Presbyterian Church, and she did very well there. They made her a mentor, which means she trained all their new hires, and so she kept getting raises. So we were all right. We were doing okay. I had my little side job, part-time job, and things were going pretty good. But after about 10 years, one day she said, "Honey, you still want to live in the Philippines?" And I had always said I wanted to retire in the Philippines. So I said, yeah. So this was about a year before we actually moved here, as we had to sell our house. Now, our house was located in a very good area. Just down the street was a Domain, a brand new new type of a shopping center. Uh, it's replacing malls essentially, and Apple's building a new campus nearby. They've started a new professional soccer league team nearby. And Austin had become one of the fastest growing cities in the country, in the U.S. And so we got a realtor, and she sold the house in about 3 weeks. We had an offer, a pretty good offer too, a lot more than we paid for it. So we did that, and then we had started having garage sales, yard sales, and tried to sell our furniture. Some of our friends bought some of our furniture, and then some stuff we just gave away. I had to give away all my camping equipment. That was hard because we had done a lot of camping, especially when we were in Arizona. I had the Grand Canyon just down this road, and lots of national parks in Utah and Colorado. And, so we had camped out a lot, did a lot of, it might have really did like doing that. But yeah, she was missing home, and I asked her one day, what's the worst thing about the U.S.? It's too many rules. Yeah, a lot of rules, especially on traffic. Here, there's no rules, it seems like, unless the traffic catcher wants, then they'll find her. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. So we did, and sold the house, of course, I said 3 weeks, and started moving out. And we had to go to the Social Security office and this and that, and close it. And but then we took off, flew to Los Angeles. We were bringing our dog. Now, there's only a certain kind of a cage that you can ship a dog in, but we bought the wrong kind. So we had to go around in Los Angeles and find the right kind. And she had to fly in freight. Going from Austin, she was able to fly with me sitting down on the floor. But from Los Angeles to Manila, she had to fly in the freight. And it turned out she did just fine. So we arrived in Manila, and her sister who lives in Manila had a van there to take us to, and she had made plans for us to rent this condo in Manila on just for 2 or 3 month basis. And they took us to that, and we had Lily with us, and then her niece had brought a Shih Tzu for her, and so we had 2 dogs in the condo, and they got along just great. And so we're here, and that's one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Come from and we moved here particularly because the weather is much cooler than in Manila and lower lying areas. And we even moved in before they finally finished the house. Uh, we didn't have any windows in it, just some old screens that were bent and had holes in it. So we had this gumo flying ants, these big little flying ants. We come in and there was a leopard gecko, a big white with red spots, sitting in those recessed lights and eating those, just catching those flying ants. And the flying ants come around every few months. They start swarming and mating and all that. And they can still get in the house. I just, the last couple of nights, I had to get the bug zapper turned on, and they fly into that instead of flying into me and where I'm sitting. And we enjoyed it. Great area to live in. People are very friendly. There's very little crime. Uh, Most of the crime, I think there's some selling marijuana or something like that, drugs. But we haven't had any problems here. People are friendly. What few people we have, we've got a commercial farm right next to us, and they're all friendly. And so we're here, and this is our little paradise here. We do go on trips occasionally. Next one is going to be to Davao, as I want to do a thing at the Philippine Eagle Foundation. And so that's it. We're happy with what we've got and getting here. Glad we did it. Wasn't always easy, but we made it here, and oh, that's why we had all these geckos in the house. That's why I named our property Casa de Gecko. See, when you hear me say that, it's my property. Geckos are really nice. They eat all kinds of insects. So we have some living. One lives behind a bathroom mirror, and occasionally I see them running along the roof or the ceiling or poking their head out. But they're no bother to us. So that's how we got here, and if you're wanting to come, hope this helps. And y'all take care. Have a great day. And adios, amigos and amigas. And hook 'em horns. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.